This is an author reading from my most recent book, The Perfected Motorcycle, Grappling with a Panther.
After one of those restless nights when there's far too much moonlight and one's neurons seem to be bouncing around at random, spitting out all kinds of disassociated rubbish, I woke up to a weather forecast promising daytime temperatures well above freezing. Gulping down a quick coffee, I walked down my soggy driveway to the subdivision road in front of our house. There was still a winter's worth of sand and grit covering the surface, but it was free of ice, snow, and slush. And I knew from past experience that if our road was clear, the more heavily travelled routes would be perfect. Well, if not perfect, then at least rideable. In truth, I'd been eagerly watching the weather forecast for days, hoping to find a weather window for a 3-day adventure into the eastern townships of Quebec. I had it all planned. I'd mapped out my route to visit some of the many covered bridges in the area. The Goodsey Eldorado was ready to roll. My bags were more or less packed. But I chickened out. The forecast suggested that after a day of gentle warmth, the thermometer would plummet again, bringing rain. And that didn't sound like fun at all. One day, then. One glorious day of mild, spring-like temperatures before it dropped back to the mid-March norms of chill and damp. I had to do something. I know. I'll take the Panther for a good long romp. I could see fuel in the Panther's gas tank, but had no idea how far it would get me, so I sucked out a couple of litres from the Eldorado and poured them in. The oil level was fine, perhaps even a little on the high side. Conventional wisdom among Panther cognoscenti is that the oil level should be at or below the lowest mark on the dipstick. It seems counterintuitive, scary even, to allow it to be so low. But since many Panther riders are high-mileage types who actually ride their old clunkers countless thousands of miles without them blowing up, I guess it must be true. I had to do a bit of bike shuffling in the garage to get the Panther into the sunlight, and some cardiovascular exercise to push it across a winter's worth of hard-packed ice near the garage door. But eventually it was out near the end of the driveway, leaning perilously on its side stand. I really should pave that drive. The gravel gets soggy at this time of year. The stand sinks in, and, not wanting the bike to fall, I pushed it the rest of the way onto the road and hoiked it onto its centre stand while I got my gear on. I'm definitely an ignition points kind of guy. I like their simplicity. I understand how they work and what to do when they don't. But every time I start the Panther, I mentally thank Ken for having the good sense to fit an electronic ignition. Big singles can be tricky to start, but my M120 almost never takes more than 1 or 2 kicks before it's happily chugging. You have to follow the arcane procedures, but as long as you do, it'll reward you by starting immediately and reliably, whether the engine's hot or cold. As I pulled away, I was following my own shadow down the snowbank-lined road, relishing the impressive acceleration while being careful not to wheelie. Kidding, of course. The Panther makes leisurely progress, gathering speed in a calm and unthreatening manner. No matter how ham-fisted you are, there's zero chance of lifting the front wheel or laying down rubber. It's the complete antithesis of a Hayabusa or a Ninja.
This was just a few minutes of Chapter 9 of The Perfected Motorcycle. This and my other print, digital and audio motorcycle books are available on Amazon and Audible. Just search for Nick Adams Motorcycle. Thanks for listening.